H.P. Lovecraft, famous for being the creator of cosmic horror and what became the Cthulhu mythos, a weird mythological world where everything is slimy, evil and fish-like. How'd you come up with this shit? Maybe his missus just needed a good wash. The man himself was no less weird than the stories he wrote. The man would get severe headaches that incapacitated him for a day just from doing maths. He was also an incredible racist, and he had a lovely cat named His most famous creation is Cthulhu. A giant monster priest with tentacles for a mouth, tiny wings, and a giant humanoid body. But everyone kind of knows Cthulhu, or at least a popular version of him. Today, we're going to talk about a different story, Rats in the Walls. In my opinion, this is Lovecraft's scariest story. Spoiler warning, if you haven't read the story yet, go read it. Now that's out of the way, let's begin. In 1923, an American named Delaporte is the last descendants of the De La Poa family. He soon moves into his ancestral home after his only son passes away during the First World War. His family estate is called Exham Priory, and there are many rumours and horror stories surrounding the property. The locals who live nearby are truly terrified. Delaporte decides that he will restore it and move in. Delaporte and his cat, whose name is also is scurrying in the walls. The man believes that the scurrying is rats in the walls. Delaporte begins to have recurring dreams, strange dreams, of a town. He meets one of his son's old war buddies, one Edward Norris, and also meets some experts on the house. They decide to explore the house and find a Romanesque door beneath the house. They go even deeper, see if they can find where the rats are. Exploring deeper and deeper under the stately home, they find an underground city. The one from Delaporte's dreams, no less. The city is no ordinary city, though. Here was a place where the De La Poa family raised humans as cattle, so that they may have a constant supply of human flesh. Some of their cattle reverted back to a quadrupedal state. A little side note here, it's a little weird that Lovecraft is trying to make us repulsed by the fact that these humans are being treated this way and then eaten, but he himself was a racist. I suppose the assumption here is that the people being herded are only people because they're white and they're of good breeding?
Minorities, Jewesses, and the unseasonably tan.
I don't know, but anyway, this was ceased when one De La Poa realised the pure immorality of what was being done and decided enough was enough. He murdered his whole family and then he moved to America, changed his name to Delaporte, and tried to get rid of any link to his family. He could have picked a slightly less conspicuous name, though it could just be that the name changed over time. He left the bodies down there to be devoured by the rats, hence why there are so many. Delaporte and his cat then head down deeper and quickly. As he descends, he slowly goes mad and eventually blacks out. When he wakes up, his cat is wailing and attacking him violently. He turns and sees Norris's murdered and half-eaten corpse. We're then treated to seeing Delaporte in a mental institute. He's recounting the story of what happened. Maddened that Norris survived while his son died, he kills him. Here's a little excerpt from it. No, I tell you, I am not that Damon swineherd in the Twilight Grotto. I was not Edward Norris's fat face on the flabby fungus thing. Who says I'm a Delaporte? He lived, but my boy died. Shall a Norris hold the lands of the Delaporte? It's voodoo, I tell you. That spotted snake curse you, Thornton. I'll teach you to faint at what my family do. As blood thou stinked, I'll learn ye how to gust wold. Ye swink me thilk wis, magna mater, atis dia, ad achyad, ad aodan, agus bas dunak ot, donusis, Dolas ot agos liat sa. Yes, that is a quote from Delaporte. I tried my best with the Old English, Latin, Gaelic, and then just the mumbling, but I'm not fluent in any of those, so my apologies. Lovecraft said that his original inspiration was the cracking of his wallpaper in the dead of night, following which he had crazed imaginings, those fitting of a paranoid nut like Lovecraft. Though more recent scholars have pointed from Freud to Poe as inspirations, the Gaelic quoted is from Fiona MacLeod and means, God against thee in thy face, and may a death of woe be yours, evil and sorrow to thee and thine. This language was chosen because it was pre-Latin and fit to the area in which the home is set. This story, like many others, is set in the Cthulhu mythos, and it was originally published in Weird Tales. Then it was subsequently published in a series of collections, and another series of collections, and so on. Personally, I think this is one of his scariest stories, and it turned me into a terrified little girl. And it's not just me. Many novelists are in agreement with me, claiming that it achieves a memorable nastiness. Obviously, this story hasn't had quite the impact some of its other creatures and stories have had. Here's looking at you, Cthulhu. But it has had several adaptations, including comics, plays, radios, music, TV and film, even games. So even though it hasn't had the same impact, it has still had quite an influence over modern pop culture. Personally, it is my favourite Lovecraft piece. So anyway, that was Rats in the Walls. Probably one of the lesser known works, but my favourite at least. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. You know the drill by now. Follow my Twitter, Instagram, join the subreddit. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell if you want notifications. If you want to leave a comment, tell me, give me a suggestion, give me some feedback. I always love reading them. And anyway, I will see you next week, babies.